King Edward VI Aston School in Birmingham against Churcher's College in Hampshire. The winner to go through to Twickenham to play Civic College of Essex in 2.5 weeks' time. We've seen a pulsating first semi-final. Dave Rogers alongside me. The second one, hopefully, just be pulsating. Just as pulsating, I should say.
Well, we've seen a turnaround, we've seen ups and downs, we've seen tries, we've seen yellow cards, and what these teams will have seen is their opposition in Twickenham in a couple of weeks' time. Whether that is a benefit or not remains to be seen, but they'll certainly know they're up against it. But first of all, they actually have to get over the final hurdle, which is to qualify for that final. We've got two teams here, again, from different circuits. They don't know an awful lot about each other. What we saw in the first match is that means we might see a little bit of trepidation to begin with, but in the end, they're going to open up. We've got a great pitch, great conditions, and hopefully another great rugby match to come.
Yes, absolutely. One of the warmest days of the year so far here on March the 7th. About 15, 16 degrees here in North London. Nice cooling breeze from the south. And no doubt both these teams, King Edward VI Aston School and Churcher's College, will be savouring this moment, this semi-final, for a chance to get to Twickenham. This is the two 15s that will line up for this 1 o'clock kick-off here at the Alliance Park. King Edward VI Aston School, Joseph Morris, Matthew Grigg, Satvinder Sangar, Harakith Hare, Gobind Rai, George Minchin, Sheol Rakhani, Alex Bennett, Zach Tyler, scrum half, Ollie Chitnis at fly half, Isaac Miller on the right wing, Thomas Williams, Miles Bean on centres, Warren Davis on the right wing, Dwight Coulson, full-back, their coached by Mr. Terry Finn. And they've got a good crowd in them as well. Churcher's College of Hampshire, William Kay, number 1. Front row, that's hooker Stephen Younghusband, Harry Trousdale, 3. Second rowers of Harry Trawlings and James Hargreaves. Sam Bloomer, Joseph Farrell, 7. Number 8, Seb Herald. Scrum half is Jack Harper. Seb Head is the fly half at 10. Jordan Alexander, 11. Ben Norman, Zach Housden are the centres. Johnny Payne on the right wing. Charlie Thompson is the fullback, and they're coached by Mr. Ben Seal. Good crowds have come down from Hampshire and from Birmingham for this semi-final. Just cheering as both other names are getting read out on the PA at the moment. The replacements: Baig, Marriott, Bancroft, Ahmed, Davidson, Flanagan and Lloyd for King Edward VI Aston School. And Churcher's College: Wood, Gray, Nichols, Vowdery, Hussle, Edmondson and Hanlon. Hanlon was a late change, in fact. So, David, your expectations for this semi-final? As we saw in the first semi-final, though, a little bit of nervousness, as it were, the first 10-15 minutes from both sides. We might expect to see the same here again, but we'll be hoping that one of the teams can try and get out the blocks and get through them gears early. Well, that's Cup rugby. Getting through the gears is an interesting thing there, because neither team really did in the first half of the first semi-final. But that is ancient history now. We've got two fresh teams. We've got a beautiful pitch here, great conditions. Eventually, the conditions did play in the last semi-final, because we saw some good running rugby. We saw lots of tries, and I think we could have the same here. Looking at the previous results and their routes to the semi-final, there have been big scores from both teams. We've got King Edward VI there. They had a walkover against Shire Oak in round 1, but then 58 points in round 2, 50 points in round 4, and they've also shown that in round 5 they can get over the line in a close encounter, because 12-10 against West Buckland, that was an absolute war, and they came out on the winning side. Just looking at the amount of points that they've only conceded, 23 points over 4 matches, it's an impressive defence. Oh, it certainly is. And again, on occasions like this, it's very often defence that trumps attack. So if you're confident in the man on your inside and the man on your outside, that they're going to make the tackles, that they're going to shout you over, and you know, in these 50-50 moments, if your defence can make the difference, then that can be what gets you over the line and into that final at Twickenham. Churcher's College, this is their route to the Alliance Park here this afternoon. They played one more extra round compared to King Edward VI Aston School. They're
again, they've not conceded an awful lot of points, and there are comparatives there. Big wins in the first couple of rounds, and then it gets a lot closer. That Cheadle-Hume match obviously sticks out, 25-21, similar to the 5th round where King Edward played West Buckland and they had a close win. So again, big wins, showing there that with a 47-0 win, with a 29-0 win, when they get ahead, they're not afraid to put the hammer down and really finish teams off. But I'm sure that's not going to be the case today in the semi-final.
No, a big prize awaits the winner, a place in the Vs final. Kicking off around about 2 o'clock on that Twickenham day in a couple of weeks' time. This kick-off is at the top of the hour, around 1 p.m. As I said, it should be an interesting tussle, this one as well. As you can see by Churcher's College there, Dave, they're not afraid to rack up the points either, especially in the first 2 matches with wins over Chesham School and Windsor Boys, 29-0, 47-0. They're averaging over 25 points a game, aren't they? And maybe into the low 30s if you add all them up in this cup competitions. So we're not that team that we expect they might score a few tries.
Well, and you'd expect teams to score tries and score points on this pitch as well. It's a big pitch, it's a flat pitch, it's a fast pitch. So the backs and the ball carriers will be licking their lips today, because ultimately they'll want to score tries. I mean, if you're a young player and you score a try at Allianz Park, or you win a match at Allianz Park, that's a kind of memory that sticks with you for the rest of your life and the rest of your career. This is a huge occasion today in Schools Cup Rugby. We've already seen a team in Vs.Churcher College who've never been at this stage of the competition before, getting to the final, which is at Twickenham, remember, and this is another opportunity for a team like that to really stamp their authority on a national stage.
So we're just moments away from the kick-off here at the Allianz Park. The second Vs semi-final of the under-18s, and then we've got 2 cup semi-finals to come at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, which should be 2 intriguing ties for the big prize of schools rugby. But this one is not too bad a prize either. The under-18s Vs, King Edward VI Aston School against Churcher's College, just moments away. The replacements already coming out onto the field.
And just below us as well, Oundle School are taking their place in the stands. They, of course, have their cup semi-final against Bromsgrove later. That's an absolutely mouth-watering tie. But just looking at the lineups here, King Edward VI, that's a settled team. No changes between when the team was released earlier in the week and now. Churcher's College, they've made just the one change. Jordan Alexander didn't originally make the matchday squad, but he came in for Joseph Parks on the left wing. So that's one change. And of course, those 2 changes that you mentioned before, Matt Edmondson and Ben Hanlon coming in on the bench at 21 and 22. So both pretty settled teams, just the one change in both starting 15s. If both teams are at 100%, then hopefully this will be an absolute cracker, just like the first semi.
Well, we can indeed cross our fingers and hope that we have a superb feast of rugby. The first course was pretty decent.
Certainly was.
Now we're moving on to the fish course. The starter was sublime. Let's see how the next course is.
In fairness, they do a great job here at Allianz Park as well. Real atmosphere building. Even though it's a sparsely populated stand, those little pockets of supporters do make a tremendous amount of noise in that main stand, and it'll make a big difference, and it'll really make an impression on the players as they make their way out. You've got to think this is very different to the kind of atmosphere they used to play in their matches in, particularly when the early rounds start in the winter. The pitches can be boggy, they can be wet, they can be cold. This is the complete antithesis. Conditions are firm and solid, and just as the players are going through their final preparations, everything is set for an absolute belter here.
You can see both teams in the distance there being held in the clubhouse here at the Allianz Park. Home of Saracens. And a couple of the schools, as Dave mentioned, Oundle School are already here. They're sitting in the stands watching, and there's a few of the Hardy supporters giving us a wave. They can see themselves on the big screen. Very good afternoon to you all. And there's a massive teddy bear who's taken up a seat. I hope he's paid for the ticket. Right in the centre of the screen there. He's taken up 2 seats. David.
Yes, he is.
Well, here comes both sides. No more fooling around now. Down to business. Churcher's College. We've brought a good crowd with them. From Hampshire. Yes, Churches have brought a couple of bus loads here for this second semi-final. So then, Civic College of Essex awaits the winner.
Both teams in the huddle, final preparations.
King Edward, the 6th Aston School, the ones in your picture, in the hoops. Churches College will be in the white shirts. So then, both teams getting in their final little huddle. And the crowd really getting behind both their teams as we await the kickoff. Captain of Churches College, Sebastian Head, is the man who'll get this second semi-final underway. A bit of a nervous start. The ball has already found touch, and there will be a line out to Churches.
Yeah,
nervy start.
Nice flat kick-off. The receiver just overran it a little bit through his hands. We'll give him that one with the first kick-off of the match, but that won't do his nerves any good with what's at stake here today.
Stefan Younghusband is the hooker for Churches College. In his first test, he's passed with flying colours. Seb Harold. Churches starting on the front foot. Will Kay. Zach Housden. Seb Head. William Kay. Ball knocked forward by James Hargreaves. And it will be a King Edward VI put in at the scrum.
Well, the knock-on from Hargreaves there, but real attacking intent from the off from Churches, showing that they're not scared to throw the ball around. Zach Housden there, great step from him. I think he's going to be a real threat to the King Edward's defence. Seb Head as well, the outside half, showing that he's not scared to change the direction of play when it's not on. And also good handling from the forwards, so Churches really filling us full of confidence here.
So the referee will reset that scrum. It's going to be a free kick.
2 bites of the cherry there at the scrum. The referee not happy either time. Gave him the benefit of the doubt the first time round. The second time, free kick awarded.
Put it high into the air. Who wants it? patient rugby. It's a bit of a nervous start for both these teams. Collected. Now a little bit of a dart and run cheered on by the crowd. So Churcher's come running. Good tackle. Number 7, Varol. Into the 22. Harper. Churcher's on the front foot.
God, it's a good hit.
It's a great hit, and they've got an advantage coming from it as well, and they'll win the penalty.
It's Matthew Crigg, the hooker, an absolute thunderous hit there in the middle of the park. The advantage was already there for Churchers, but a real sign of intent there from King Edward VI. Let's take a look at the replay there. It was good front foot ball from Churchers, but a huge hit there in the middle of the park. But the first opportunity to score and get the scoreboard rolling for Churchers.
It's going to be their number 8 is going to be on kicking duty. Seb Heddle opens the scoring for Churchers College. 3-0 they lead.
Well, the all-action back row captain, he's already taken a lot of ball on. He's also kicking the goals from number 8. Straightforward opportunity for him there.
So, first blood drawn by Churchers College in this semi-final. Dolly Chitness will restart. He's gone out on the fall from the kick-off. A bit of nervousness from King Edward VI Aston School.
Yeah, and as for Churchers, it's been the exact opposite for them. Apart from the first kick-off that went over the second row and into touch, they've looked quite clinical. Big, strong ball carriers. Straight away with King Edward, we can see that they've got some ball carriers and some real athletes in the back line, but unless you can get your hands on the ball, that's not going to be of great benefit to you. Now, the referee wasn't happy with either of the last scrums. Let's see if we can make a little bit more from this one.
Free kick.
That's 2 from 2 free kicks now.
Harper.
Referee giving Churchers the benefit of the scrum at the moment.
Young Hosbert. Harper. Ball goes into touch.
Good hands from the hooker there in the back line, you know, in at second receiver. I'm not sure if it was the plan, but he recovered well. Good spinning pass off the left hand. It was Seb Herold then who went for the glorious offload. Didn't quite come off. We can see there the hooker in the scrum cap. It was a good pass to his number 8. He had the right winger Johnny Payne outside him, but couldn't really find him with the pass. And from the line out, that's not straight. That's another mistake. And the ball will be back with Churchers.
Yes, King William Aston School just a little bit, King Edward Aston School, to beg your pardon, just a little bit nervous. Start this semi-final. Understandable though, it's a big game.
Certainly is. Another scrum. We've had 2 free kicks to Churchers so far.
Will it be third time a charm? Churchers been up ones on the front foot from the off, and they could be really get their just desserts here and their just rewards. Charlie Thompson with the corner. He's landed in touch. He's landed in touch. That's a superb tackle by Warren Davis.
Wonderful cover tackle. Warren Davis Yes, that's the first time we've seen the Churcher's backline unleashed. It was great handling, good dummy runs. The King Edward Aston defence not entirely sure what to do. In the end, it was a flat-out foot race for the corner. He dabbed the ball down, but what a covering tackle. We are still tryless in this match, and now a big defensive moment for King Edward.
Matthew Grigg, the hooker. Cleared downfield. Who wants it? A bit of a handling header there from Jordan Alexander. Charlie Thompson collects the pickup. Good offload to James Hargreaves. Dumped tackle. The referee thought it was a good one as well. Jack Harper tries to beat Gobing Rai. Doesn't do so. Offloads it to Stephen Younghusband. Another good offload to William Kay. Harry Rawlins. He's been dumped out, but there's a knock-on advantage. And it will be King Edward with the put-in.
Silky hands there from Churcher, some lovely backdoor offloads, but I'll tell you something, King Edward VI have put some absolutely thundering hits in so far. We've had big right shoulders, we've had dump tackles too. They're spending a lot of time defending at the moment, but they're doing a pretty good job of it, whether it's shoulder to shoulder in the middle of the park or that great covering tackle from Warren Davis, the winger. First time we'll see King Edward with an attacking scrum.
Good scrum from King Edward.
Oh, wasted.
Into midfield. Harper. Sebastian Head. A little bit of a low kick. Puts it under a little bit of pressure for Dwight Wilson. It turns into a football match instead of a rugby game.
Yeah, clever kick there. There wasn't really anything on for the outside half, so he's just gone for territory, grubbed it through. Put Dwight Wilson under a lot of pressure with the bounce of the ball. In the end, the ball scrambled into touch, and another great attacking position deep inside the 22 from Churchers.
Stephen Younghusband goes short. Head. We're in rugby, there's Charlie Thompson. Jordan Alexander. Tackle there by Warren Davis. Thompson. A little bit of a gap opening up for Seb Head. Try time.
Oh, wonderful feet from the outside half. Just drifted and drifted and drifted. Sold the dummy, got inside one. Then it is an absolute nightmare for the fullback with the covering tackle. Seb Head, first try of the match. Beautifully done. It was Zach Tyler who he beat in the end, but Tyler really had no chance. All the momentum with the Churchers outside half. He's had a great start to the match and he extends the lead.
So then, the captain playing a good innings in the first 10 minutes of this semi-final. 8-0 the score. This to add the extras. Nearly averaging a point a minute at the moment. But that one, a little bit of a gimme, but missed. So 8-0, it's Churchers, 11 minutes down.
Well, that's a little bit of a let-off in the end, because that was a free 2 points after some lovely footwork from Seb Head. And Seb Herald, the number 8, misses the kick.
8-0. And again, another poor kick-off there from King Edward.
Well, they're pushing the self-destruct button at the moment. They're inviting pressure on themselves. They couldn't clear the lines, which is what led to the try, albeit that moment of individual brilliance from Seb Head. But that's 2 kickoffs straight out. You just can't gift the ball back to your opposition like that, especially when they've shown that they'll run the ball from pretty much anywhere and they're not scared to offload. King Edward VI making life very difficult for themselves at the moment.
Jack Harper with the put-in, with the scrum on the halfway line. Picked up by Seb Heddle. Harper. Picked up by Harry Rawlings. They get there from Sam Bloomer. Harper. A little bit of juggling act there for Seb Head, the captain. So much so, a little bit too much for our referee.
Yeah, obstruction in the midfield there. Bit of a loose pass. It was well gathered by Seb Head, but there was a dummy runner that he ran through. No choice really there for the referee.
And it will be King Edward VI School to have the put-in at the scrum.
More good collisions in midfield. This is going to be a real physical battle as we approach the 15-minute mark.
Up they come. Referee not too happy with the front row.
King Edward not really been able to impose themselves in this game yet. They have done a little bit in defence, but in terms of attack, they've just not been able to recycle the ball. They've not been able to get any real periods of territory or possession. They'll be hoping that this scrum will be a bit different, but that's a decent scrum from Church, as well held in the end by King Edward.
A loose pass, and the ball was knocked forward, in fact, so King Edward VI after school. I think they're still stuck on the M40 at the minute.
Yeah, discipline costing them right now. No real composure. I think that's the key. Just a replay off the base of the scrum. The scrum held well. That's a bad pass straight through. Not sure who it was for, whether it was for Bean or Davis. Didn't find either.
Harper with the put-in. Harold collects. Seb Head. Offloads to Johnny Payne, who goes to ground. Harper. Good tackle there from Alex Bennett. Young husband tries to sell the dummy, does well. Johnny Payne. Ball is out and loose. It's still in Church's College hands though. The referee spotted the knock on, and it will be another put-in.
Yeah, it's gone a little bit scrappy the last couple of minutes, which will suit King Edward really, because they needed the pace of the game to slow down. Churchers were putting them under tremendous amount of pressure. What I've been impressed with so far with Churchers though is they're keen to spread the ball. They're keen to find the initial contact, keen to offload and kind of make it work from there really. As for King Edward, they've got another opportunity now from the scrum. Plenty of width on it too. They've got plenty of pace and power in the back line, but it's getting the ball there at the moment that's proving the problem.
16 minutes down. Church's College lead by 8 points to 0. Long way to go as we see all in the first semi-final. What was indeed a tale of two halves. King Edward School out wide again. It's a couple of handling errors from King Edward in this first quarter of the game. Doesn't cost them on this occasion. But good defence from Churchers, and they win the putting.
Yeah, great counter-ruck in there from Churchers. It was all a bit slow from King Edward. That's twice now. Miles Bean just doesn't seem to put himself in a position to catch the ball. That's twice it just seems to have missed his hands or gone through his hands as the substitution's being made for Churchers there.
Yeah, number 20 coming on, Emil Russell, I do beg your pardon. Harper will have the put-in at the scrum as number 14, Johnny Payne, goes off. Free kick. This time goes King Edward's way.
Yeah, referee showing that he's not going to take any nonsense in the scrum. That's free kicks that have gone both ways now. The scrum's quite evenly matched, actually. No one really getting on top. And once again, they go for this peculiar up and under technique.
Harper, young husband. Zach Houston, good offload, it was indeed. To Emil Russell. Young husband, Joseph Farrell. Stefan Younghusband goes himself. Good offload to Sam Bloomer.
Oh, great tackle.
5 metres out, Church has been on the front foot, but King Edward win the penalty.
Well, King Edward, they have done really well, but fancy putting yourself under pressure like that. You've got the opportunity to clear into the opponent's 22, get some territory, but instead they go with that big up and under. That's a couple of times that's happened. That's a confusing one for me. What it did do was mean that Churchers once, they just get away with it there from the penalty. But what it does mean is that Churchers straight away have got a full pitch to run at, and they've shown there just how deadly they can be in terms of getting the offload, spreading the ball from left to right. But another huge collision from King Edward there. Great defensive tackle. They win the penalty and clear the lines. Let's see what they can do from this line out.
8-0 the score. King Edward really trying to get into the game at the moment. They've been really put on the back foot so far by Churches College. But let's see what Dwight Wilson can do here.
Sort of galloped into the collision there.
Kick is blocked, but who collects it? It's gone Church's way. Chance for them to launch a counter-attack. Harper. Seb Head. Little low kick. Puts it under pressure. And it's on foot race. They're off and running. But it will be a 22 dropout.
Yeah, a bit too much on it there. Not smart play from Ollie Chitness there. He's tried to force the kick, and again, it's just handed the ball back to Churchers in an attacking position. King Edward trying to get away with a sneaky one there over on the far side, but Warren Davis unable to collect, so I think we'll have a slightly more conventional 22 dropout. King Edward, they need a bit of a spark here. They can't really have that spark without the ball.
Collected by Jordan Alexander. Alexander goes to Farrell. Farrell, Harper. It's his head, the try scorer and captain. But he may have been turned over. He has been. Carney. Sangar. Chance here for King Edward to test the Church's defence, using their forwards. Box kick forward from Zach Tyler, down the throat of Charlie Thompson, but the referee has called it back for an earlier penalty, and it will be King Edward 6 Aston School with a penalty on the halfway line.
Yeah, a bit better there from King Edward. They kind of went through the phases, making yards and yards at a time, taking the sting out of Churchers, which is again what they needed to do. They need a little bit of a period of possession. They've not scored yet. We've got over 20 minutes on the clock, and not only have they not scored, they've not really looked like scoring. Finally, they've gone for the sensible decision from that penalty, Johnny, and they found the touch. As for Churchers, they just need to keep doing what they're doing, really. I mean, the counter-attacking play is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we're looking at King Edward VI, who are in a great position attacking-wise here, but we know that if they cough up the ball, Churchers can go the length of the field, and that'll be playing on both teams' minds.
Line out is stolen by Sam Bloomer. Harper. Box kick forward, but the referee spotted an earlier knock-on, and it'll be a scrum on the Churchers 22.
Yeah, just a hand in there, just trying to steal the line out, which we saw in the previous match was a great defensive tactic. Why not put your defence under no pressure whatsoever by stealing the line out? Nice platform here, though, for King Edward VI. Let's see if they can release some of those dangerous backs.
Yeah, good.
The back's lying very, very deep here.
Tyler with the putting at the scrum. Good scrum it was from Churchers. puts King Edward's under pressure. How do they go on here? Long loose pass. Wilson. Davis. Bean, I do beg your pardon. Morris. Tyler. Chitness.
King Edward very narrow on that attack.
Tyler goes to his right this time. Uses Morris. Hare. Tyler. Chitness. Good offload to Isaac Miller.
No organisation in the back line here for King Edwards at all.
Tyler. Rye. Bit of a loose pass, but still in Hare's hands.
Have a look, there's no one to the left of the ruck here for King Edward's school.
Yeah, very narrow at the moment. Chitness. Miles Bean goes on one player and another. One man to beat. Goes to the corner. What a try!
What absolutely majestic skill from Miles Bean. We saw in the very first minute that his footwork was absolutely incredible. He's dropped a couple of balls in the midfield, but he has shown there why he is an absolutely lethal finisher, the King Edward VI outside centre. There was no room outside the man there. He sold the one man, then similar to the first try, it was a one-on-one. The defender may as well have sat down. He had absolutely no chance there. What a finish from Miles Bean. Let's take another look at this. He receives the ball just outside the 22, stands at the defender, gets past one, dummies the offload. It's the left winger for Churchers there, Jordan Alexander, the man who came in as a final replacement just before kick-off. Miles Bean there beats three men and scores a superb try in the right corner, and his team are right back in this now, 5-8.
Indeed, it was a superb try there from Miles Bean. And Ollie Chitness will look to add the extras.
Rob, yeah, nice to meet you.
Front row. When is your guys around?
We do very simple. We're going to get our photo about that.
Not his best attempt. Still a 3-point game. 10 minutes to go in this first half.
Well, that's the first time we've seen King Edward VI really attacking there. The Miles Bean, absolutely mesmerising footwork from the outside centre. All of a sudden that changes things for Churchers College, because that's the first time they've really been shaken, and they'll know now for the rest of this match they cannot give Miles Bean an inch. Well, that's a mistake.
That is a mistake there from number 5, Goldman Rye.
There've been a couple of times with King Edward VI that they've just not got themselves in a position to catch the ball. Actually, Bean, who we've just been praising, has been a real sort of perpetrator. He's been really guilty of that twice. He's just got his hands and his body in the wrong shape. Now, we've just seen Gobin Ray do exactly the same. That was a straightforward catch that you'd expect your second row to gobble up. But he's put his hands above his head and it's kind of bounced off him.
And he's given away a scrum inside their own 22. Picked up by Sam Bloomer.
Straight in and out again from there.
Harper. Farrell. Ball knocked forward by Harry Rawlings. Butterfingers, you could say.
Unlucky from Farrell. He did the right thing there. He made the defence back off. There was a man outside him, but he went for the inside pass, which can often be the most lethal because the defence aren't expecting it. Good hands from the 7. Perhaps the backdoor offload was a little bit low. It's a big ask to ask those tall second rowers to pick him up off their toes. Chance for King Edward VI to release the pressure.
Earlier knock on actually. This scrum has been given for, so Harper collects from his own scrum. Good tackle there by Chitness. A bit of a darting forward as well. Up looks to his left, goes left. Norman. 7 metres out. Churcher school, and they continue to gain a few yards, and they win the penalty.
Yeah, good pressure there from Churchers. It was a good defensive line from King Edward VI. I was looking for gaps. Again, they were defending quite narrow, similarly to the way they've been attacking. It's all been quite narrow. Obviously, they're relying on the pace of the wingers should the ball be spread wide. But Churchers, by contrast, have kept their discipline. They've won the penalty. And they keep this territory. They're in a great position here.
7 minutes to go in this first half. It's U18's Vs semi-final. The referee not too happy, and it's a penalty to King Edward's, who will have the chance to clear.
Opportunity gone begging there for Churchers. You could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to execute the catch and drive, but the referee not happy with the way they did it. So the decision goes King Edward VI's way.
Chitness fails to find touch.
That's really let them down so far.
Harper. Thompson. Ben Norman into a little bit of space. Ball may have been turned over though, and in fact it was knocked forward. And King Edward's will have to put in 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, King Edward VI, particularly from the boot of Chitness, he should be relieving the pressure, but what he's actually doing is putting them under pressure. It's not necessarily about making as many metres up the field as you can from these penalties. You've just got to find touch. There've been a couple of opportunities gone absolutely begging for him. I mean, that was a bad miss there. He's just not striking the ball well at all. We saw that conversion attempt that wasn't a particularly clean hit. In these situations, it's really, really important that you've got a reliable kicker, and at the moment, King Edward don't have that.
Pass. Tyler. Joe Morris. Tyler trying to fish it out, and does so. Chitness. Good kick.
Yeah, see, now that's a half-decent kick over the top, finding touch off his left foot, but he's kicked the penalty off his right and missed touch. I'm a little bit confused. I'm going to have to keep my eye on that one.
Around 5 minutes to go. Just to remind you, our clock in the corner is just an approximation. We go on the referee's whistle. Stefan Younghusband with the line out. Picked up by Alex Bennett. Tyler. Morris. Thrown into touch.
Yeah, a little bit too clever there from King Edward VI. Going back to Ollie Chitness, though, following the missed touch with the penalty, that is a good recovery from him. It's really important that, particularly with outside halves, when they do make a mistake, they see so much ball. It's just important that they can kind of put that to one side and get on with the game. So credit to Ollie Chitness there. As for the handling, just a little bit too much too soon for King Edwards. The ball's gone forward, and it's back in the hands of Jack Harper.
Harper with the put-in at the scrum. On his own 10-metre line. Harper, the best pass in the world. Chip forward. Puts the King Edward backs under pressure. Here's their counter-attack. Dwight Wilson. It's Tyler. Best pass in the world, and it's again King Edward's under pressure. Isaac Miller down to the ground, and it will be a penalty to Churchers. Good stuff from them.
Yeah, nice little chip through from Seb Head there. Dwight Wilson, he recovered well, but then he kind of runs the ball into trouble because he's got to find the contact, but he's got no support. No support whatsoever. Then it's from there on, it's slow ball for King Edward. Churchers, they've got time to apply the pressure, so King Edwards, you know, they're getting the ball, they're going backwards. Churchers push, force the penalty, and once again they find themselves inside the King Edwards 22.
2.5 minutes to go. Younghusband. collected by Sam Bloomer. Young Husband also collects as well. Good pass to Seb Herald, the try scorer for Churches. Harper. Stefan Young Husband, he's there again. He's everywhere, the lad. Harper. Seb Herald. Advantage to be played. Harper. 5 metres out at Churches. Harper looking for options, but they'll come back for an earlier penalty. Tap and go taken quickly. Harper, the referee's called it back straight away. Not from the original position, and the coach at the sideline is signalling to the captain, go for points.
Yeah, I think that's the sensible option there, but they've gone quick again.
Going quick again though. Harper, Young Husband, he's going himself, he's a metre, he's inches short. Under the post, being called to go left. They're shouting going left. They're going to go for the drive themselves. About 6 inches short. But the drive there under the post.
Well, they're vindicated with that decision in the end.
Max Wood, the scorer.
I think had they not scored that try, then the coach would have gone absolutely crazy at half-time. It was a brilliant opportunity to just keep the scoreboard ticking over just before the half-time whistle goes. But as many good scrum halves do, Jack Harper was just desperate to go quickly just to get the ball moving. They surged towards the post. King Edward VI, they were on the back foot. You can see them huddling under the sticks there. A terrible time to concede a try, but it has been coming. Churches have had some great territory throughout the match. This time, Herald does convert from underneath the sticks.
And that will be half-time. 15 points to 5. 15 points to 5, Dave, is the last try talking to it.
Well, it was great work. What they had there was forwards attacking the line at pace. First it was Seb Herald, then it was Stefan Younghusband. As you rightfully pointed out, he was absolutely everywhere in that first half. One of those hookers that plays more like a flanker, just happy to make tackles, carry the ball. At this point, Churches had to be patient. It was crude work by the forwards. 6 and 7 there, Bloomer and Farrell working together. And they've got to be patient because the try line is so close, but it's so far away too. Just one mistake, one error, one collision, one error in handling, the ball gets dropped and all that hard work goes to nothing. So credit to Churches, they kept their discipline there. King Edward need to tighten things up, they need to show more discipline. The only time they've really been inside the opposition's 22, they've managed to score. They've got great talent in the back line, but at the moment it is the discipline and industry of the Churches pack that's making the difference.
Half-time score here at the Alliance Park, this second under-18s Vs semi-final. It's King Edward VI Aston School 5, Churches College 15. So it's been an interesting first half. Much like the same semi-final that we had earlier in the first semi-final. That was a bit of a cagey, scrappy affair, wasn't it? That first semi-final. This one's been, well, it's mirror imaged it.
Yeah, absolutely. What King Edward VI will be hoping is that it mirror images it in so much that the team that's full of athletes, full of talent, not really able to execute their full potential at the moment, can click into gear in the second half, because that's what certainly happened in the first match, where Civic College all of a sudden exploded into life and eventually won the game.
Let's have a look at this first half. It's the tale of the first half so far. Churches the ones who started on the front foot.
Yeah, Churches here. This is the first try. It was great footwork from Seb Head. The outside half got the ball at first receiver. It was actually Charlie Thompson filling in at scrum half. It was a lovely ball. Not much pressure on Head. You can see he almost slowed down to survey his options, wound up as if he was going to throw a big pass out off his left hand, but then then spotted the gap, as all top quality 10s have the capability of doing. Saw that he was up against a forward there. It was the number 7 for King Edward, Kiani, not really covering his man, and he strolled in under the post. Now we see the moment of the match so far. It was Miles Bean scoring for King Edward. Got the ball just outside the 22, pretty straightforward. Stands up the first man there. It's that capability that top backs have, where they can just stop and start again. He gets round the full-back, Charlie Thompson, and then it was Jordan Alexander, a hapless attempt at a final cover tackle, and Miles Bean there. Incredible work from him to get his team back into it. This is the final try again. It was that real tough industry from the Churchers College pack. They've done a lot of work in the middle of the park, and they've been the difference between the two teams so far. I just want to have a look at the grounding on this one here to see who finally gets it.
I think it was Max Wood, actually. Max Wood was the man who got over in the end.
Yeah, it was Joseph Farrell there being helped on by Samuel Bloomer, but Max Wood showing great support, the substitute. After all that hard work, fitting that it was a forward that got the final hands on the ball. And then it was converted by the number 8 Herald for the half-time score. Great time to score from Churchers College just before half-time. Of course, as you pointed out, the coach was on the sidelines imploring for them to go for the sticks, but that decision not to was vindicated in the end.
It was indeed. They lead King Edward, the 6th Aston school. So they trail, I should say, by 15 points to 5. Your thoughts on what the coaches will be saying in at half-time? You know, King Edward, the 6th Aston school, they've rarely got into the 22, much like Civic did in the previous game. But when they dig into the 22, they were rattling up points like no bother. Well, as we've seen, they've got backs. King Edward the 6th have got backs that can trouble any team. Real athletes, fast, strong, all of the qualities you want. However, unless they've got a forward pack that can maintain the ball, that can get some sort of momentum, then you could have all the greats. You could have Jonah Lomu and Ian Evans outside them. they wouldn't be able to do anything because they just simply haven't had the quality ball. What King Edward the 6th need to do, again, this is a word I'll use so many times today, is discipline. Go through the phases. They've not gone through the phases once. To be fair, Churchers haven't done it particularly well, but what they have done is offered support for the runners. Very rarely has a Churchers forward, or back for that matter, gone into the contact zone isolated. And we've seen plenty of carrying. Young Husband and Herald in particular. The second rowers, Rawlings and Hargreaves, they've been industrious too. King Edward have shown that they are a physical team. I mean, some of their tackling, some of their collisions have been absolutely monstrous. You know, they've put Churchers players down from all angles. They've picked them up, they've slammed them down. But it's not just those isolated incidents they need. It's the constant, ongoing structure. It's committing people to the breakdown. It's securing fast ball so that Zach Tyler can bring Chitness and the two centres into the game. Interestingly enough, at this point in the first semi-final, you said first team to score will win.
Yep.
You were vindicated with that decision. Do you agree with this one?
Well, I don't know whether they'll win, but I do feel that if Churchers get the first score following the half-time interval, then it'll be very, very difficult for King Edward, not just physically but psychologically, to overcome a 15-point scoreline.
We restart. One of these two teams are 35 minutes away from Twickenham to play Civic College in the Vs final. The handling error, and it will be a knock-on to start this second half.
Well, Grigg there. First it was Gobin Ray in the first half. Then it's Matthew Grigg there. These are free catches. These are balls down the throat that you've got to be able to gather. That's a big mistake there from Grigg. They've really struggled from the restarts, actually. If you think about the ones that they've taken themselves, that they've put straight out, when they've had a restart kicked to them, then they've dropped it. That's something they're going to have to tidy up in this second half.
On the second half, it is one of these two teams. Twickenham awaits the winner. Thompson. A juggling act in midfield for Paddy Trousdale, but he collects. Farrell. tackle there from Alex Bennett. And they win the penalty as well.
Good recovery there. Good pressure in the defence. You know, it's easy to let your head drop after a mistake. Sorry, excuse me there. It's easy to let your head drop after a mistake. That's a much better kick there.
There's a little bit of a breeze that's helping King Edward 6th Aston School in the second half. It's just a tiny little breeze I think it has gone up a little, Dave, in the last hour or so. I'm just looking at the billboards behind one of the stands to our right, and they're flapping away. So they couldn't help King Edward 6th Aston School in the second half, but they've lost this line out. Harper goes to his left-hand side. Back inside to Farrell. Loose pass. Was the knock-on. And a little bit of afters here. Between Harper.
I'll forgive him that, you know, it's a semi-final with Twickenham at stake. Just boiling over there. It's been a really physical battle, actually.
Harper and Head it was at the time, just having a little bit of afters.
Player down, receiving a little bit of attention. Well, now, if that breeze has picked up, it'll be interesting to see if Ollie Chitness can use it to his team's advantage, because one of the things they were really starved of in the first half is any kind of territory whatsoever. You know, Churchers have the lead, but you think about how much time they spent in that King Edward 22. Not always being as clinical as they'd have liked to, you know. They coughed up possession quite a few times when they had the ball in an attacking position, whether it be from a line out or a handling error.
Ball to come on the field for Churchers College. So it will be Zach Tyler with the put-in at the scrum. Referee not too happy with both the front rows. He's going to give them their orders again. Tyler with the put-in. Miles Bean sent back to whence he came.
Oh, they turned it over. That's great work from Churchers.
It is great work indeed, Sam Bloomer. Harper. Ball is lost though, and there's a little bit of a foot race going on here, and it could be an opportunity of being arising here for number 10, Ollie Chitness. One man to beat, and he's there as well. Let's come from nothing, but King Edward 6th Aston School are back in the game.
Well, we spoke about Ollie Chitness and whether he'd be able to use his boot to get his team back into it, but he's used his feet there. Isn't it amazing how quickly a game of rugby can turn around? 1 minute, we're talking about a huge hit and a turnover on Miles Bean, and then out of nowhere, there's a mistake from Churchers. Ollie Chitness is the first to pounce, and that's a fantastic finish from the King Edward number 10. They had to get that score, and they did. That really, really changes things early in this second half. 10-15 with the conversion to come. Let's have another look at the finish there. It was a great step inside. Still had a lot of work to do, you know. The cover defence was good from Churchers, but he stayed strong, stayed focused, pinned his ears back for the line, and dobs it down. 10-15.
5-point game. And Chitness will have the opportunity here to make it a 3-point game. This time around, but alas, flags don't go for the touch judges. It's still a 5-point game.
Well, could that be the catalyst? A Let's have another look at that. It was a great gather. He got outside the substitute. It was a bit of a weak tackle there from Charlie Thompson, kind of swung an arm, and then 3 Churcher's College defenders getting themselves in all kinds of trouble there as Chitnis strolls in.
Charlie Thompson with the restart for Churcher's College. Good. Does that try and put a bit of confidence into King Edward's like it did to Seaver College of Essex in the first semi-final? Good take there from Ben Norman. He's finding his legs and gains the yards. How do Churchers respond? They have an advantage to come and they win the penalty. Tackler not rolling away.
Great work there from Norman. He was filling in a full-back, took the high ball well. Straight, direct running, making yards, made 15 yards at the blink of an eye there and won the penalty.
But is it going to get land in touch? It doesn't. So back it comes. It's loose in the air. Nobody under it, but it's still in Church's hands. Stefan Younghusband, tackled by Ollie Chitnis. Harper. Well, the gap opens up. And good defence there from King Edward School, and they will have the putting at the scrum.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. It was a big mistake there from the penalty. It was King Edward VI that were making those mistakes in the first half. Churchers there criminally missing touch. Having just conceded the try, they've then conceded territory and now possession. The King Edward scrum just kind of getting the edge in this as well. They're a lot more equally matched than they were in the first semi-final.
Tyler with the putting at the scrum, picked up by Alex Bennett. Tyler, high pass to Joseph Morris. Ball's gone out loose again, and it's going to be a knock-on advantage here for Churchers. And here they come. Trousdale. Wood, the second try scorer. Churchers. Harper. Good blind pass. Churchers over the gain line, and they have an advantage there. Will get the penalty.
Yeah, really good play again from Churchers. What they're doing is they're getting quick ball. That's what anyone needs, whether you're releasing the backs or bringing the forwards into play. They're getting quick ball, and they're getting forwards timing their runs well and hitting the gain line. I mean, you've got lads here, even though this is under 18s, you've got kind of 100-kilo forwards here. You know, laws of physics, if they're carrying the ball at pace, they're going to be difficult to stop. They're turning the screw here, and they're forcing King Edward into making mistakes. And now an opportunity to keep the scoreboard ticking over and to take them over a score ahead.
This to go 8 points clear. Difficult penalty into the wind as well. The referee just pointed out it's a player that must do that and not one of the coaching staff. So this for an 8-point game. It's held up in the wind. It's held up in the wind, but it's over.
Well, a real indication of how the wind has picked up here, because that looked to be sailing through the uprights before almost hitting a wall. Very rare that you see someone coming out and holding the ball up with the finger these days as well.
18-10. Still a long way to go in this game.
Harold making up for that sitter that he missed in the first half there.
Chitnis at the restart. It's a low restart. Picked up by Ahmed. Box kick downfield. Who wants it? Warren Davis does. But he's lost it. And now a chance here for Emil Hossel. Churcher's getting through the gears, but caused the knock-on, and King Edward will have a chance to clear their lines, but intent there from Churcher's College, and the dangerous they can be on the counter-attack.
Yeah, King Edward's really got out of jail there. First of all, it was Warren Davis who dropped the ball, and then there's just no real communication. Whose ball is it? You said who wants it in the commentary. The answer was no one. No one's really stamping their authority on it. Now, it was a box kick from Jack Harper. He will sense a weakness there. Do not be surprised if when they're on that side, then he just keeps pumping box kicks down Warren Davis's throat.
Zach Tyler with the put it. Chitness finds a little gap opening up. How's your leg, Sunshine? He's only got one man to beat. He's got a man with him as well. Oh, forward pass as well. It was a forward pass by an absolute country mile.
Oh no, that's a huge mistake from Chitness. I mean, he's shown that he's got glorious feet. Sells the dummy. He had Miles Bean as a support runner. Bean didn't really give him an option. I mean, we'll see on the replay here. He sold the dummy. He's just got the fullback to beat. Bean needs to come inside here to give him an opportunity for the 2-on-1. If Bean steps off his right foot there and just makes his way inside the play, then all of a sudden they've got to try and they're right back into this game.
Could have Chitness gone himself?
Well, it's a difficult one. I mean, yes, possibly. With hindsight, I bet he wishes he had.
Still an 8-point gain. The referee not too happy with the front rows again, so he's going to give him more instructions.
God, that's a real chance.
It wasn't a great chance for him. That would have really put the cat amongst the pigeons, as it were. 25 minutes to go.
Credit to Chitness, though. He is really growing in confidence in this match.
Kick downfield. Collected this time by Dwight Wilson. With two goes on one, playing on another. Hopping around on a sixpence. Is the King Edward fullback. Miles Bean. Penalty. King Edward. Taken quickly by Tyler. Chitness. Does he find the gap this time? Morris, big man, gaining the ground. Trying to open up. It's a loose pass though from Tyler. He'll be disappointed with that. And you could say, Dave, that the wind was a little bit of a factor with that one as well. You can see that one just drifting in the wind. Yeah,
that's not smart play there, because when the wind picks up, then you don't throw big passes like that. If we can see a replay of it at all, it's absolutely huge movement as we've got a bit of cup final cramp going now. It only seems to happen in the big matches, doesn't it? The semis and the finals, we've got a little bit of cramp there. But yeah, the ball thrown from right to left, not smart play, as I said, from King Edward. They put their players under a great deal of pressure, and they have the initiative back to Churcher's College. But this is a really, really evenly poised semi-final now. And here's the replay. Chitness again, bringing the big man into play. That's Joseph Morris. Huge figure there in the King Edward front row. Again, the ball's a little bit slower than the scrum half would like. But yeah, from there, he got the pass wrong. As you rightly pointed out, you could just see the movement. And a great attacking opportunity goes begging for King Edward. And remember, they're more than a converted score behind, so at some stage they're going to need to chip away at this Churcher's lead.
Need to aim to that deficit, yes. 8 points the difference. Still plenty of time though. 22 minutes or so as the crowd continues to stream in for the Cup semi-finals that are due to follow between Undle and Bromsgrove. Looks like they've brought a couple of bus loads as they begin to take their seats in the stand.
Well, it's a glorious day to watch rugby. So that's a confirmation there that Max Wood, the try scorer, who actually came on as a substitute, is being replaced by William Kay wearing number 1.
Well, he's done a good job so far, Max Wood. Scoring that try. Give Churchers this 8-point lead. She's had that stoppage in play. Time has been restarted by the referee, I believe. goes to make sure the Churcher's number 7, Joseph Fowler's okay. So we can resume.
Yeah, the King Edward back three standing noticeably higher up the field than they would have in the first half, obviously expecting that wind to become a factor on the clearance kick. In fact, Warren Davis is almost stood in line with the outside half and the two centres.
Jack Harper with the put in and collects. Box kick. It's great to mention David is held up in the wind. And Dwight Wilson was the man right under it. Beats one man and another. Gets caught with a couple more. The offload wasn't the best, but it's still in King Edward hands. Tyler. Wilson. Morrison, to beg your pardon. Zach Tyler. Decent offload to Alex Bennett inside the 22. Tyler. Morris. And on the left-hand side, it's going to look like a chip forward to the corner.
Well, Joseph Morris really going through some work for King Edward VI now. They're huge number 1. A nightmare to stop. That's not great play in that position, though. Let's take another look at that kick.
Yeah, well, Alex Bennett did very well here, getting into the 22. And Zach Tyler, I think, just ran out of options there. He did have players to his left-hand side and could have run a few more phases, but...
The thing is, he's looked up and nobody's making the run. They've stolen that line out, though.
Stolen the line out, though. Williams, out wide being. It's gone loose again. Isaac Miller, still in King Edward VI school hands. Bean dances round his Fred Astaire out there at the minute. He's pirouetted on a sixpence. Tyler. Morris. It takes a couple of them to get him down. You got to commit men to tackling the big man, Morris.
6, that type.
Just short of the Churcher's 22. Thomas Williams. 3 points will do now. They'll look for 7 though. Good strength from Ollie Chitness. Tyler goes left this time. Rye. Patient rugby, and they get a penalty as their reward.
This is the first time we've seen King Edward VI do this, and we've wanted them to do it the whole time. They're going through the phases.
Options. Take the 3.
Yes. I think they'd be silly not to.
What are you saying?
Sorry, I was just saying that Zach Houston was down there, the 13 for Churchers, but that's the first time we've really seen King Edward VI go through the motions, like proper phase play, not try the kind of Hail Mary, get it wide, get it in the hands of Miles Bean. Unless he's got space, you know, when you commit into play like that, it's an absolute waste. You want to find Miles Bean in space because he can finish. What they've done there is they've used their forwards. I mean, we hardly saw Joseph Morris in the first half. He's been on the field of play the entire time. Now he's going through work. He's committed defenders. As I said, 6 defenders last time. He burst a tackle of 2, and in the end it took 4 to get him down. That's a chance got begging again. Ollie Chitness misses with the penalty, and the score stays the same.
Score remains the same. And another chance goes back in for Chitness, who will look back on this and think of an opportunity missed here. He could have tied this game up with the kicks he's missed.
Well, he's missed 8 points worth of kicks, which would have levelled things. 2 penalties and a conversion he's missed.
Ball bounces, nobody collects it. Instead, Sangar does. Morris again. He's been a bit of a beast in this second half. Ball Hands in touch, but it was knocked forward before that, and it will be a Churcher's potty.
Yeah, Chris Bancroft, number 18, has just come on for King Edward VI. I understand the whole trying to tap it back for your team thing from the restart, but he could have claimed the catch there. He was under no pressure. I think both sets of coaches will look at the kick-off receive as something that they can really work on should they make it to the final. Next score here is really, really important. There's that cliche again.
Let's mark that one off your bingo card. A little bit of a juggling act. It still remains, but a good tackle there from Ollie Chitnis. Stopping Churchers in their track. Box kick, downfield, collected by Isaac Miller. And he's got a few moves as well, but dumped into touch.
First time we've really seen him. Interesting that Davis and Miller have swapped wings in the second half. We've got Davis now still wearing 14 but stood on the left wing, and Isaac Miller wearing 11 but stood on the right. Nifty footwork there from the King Edward man. Got outside a couple of defenders. There's another substitution here for Churchers.
A little bit of confusion for us in the commentary box because he's wearing number 24. We're not, our numbers only go up to 22, so he's the...
Well, the stadium announcer has just said that 24 is Emil Hustle. Scramble there from James Hargreaves. Ball goes into touch and it's back with Churchers.
15 minutes or so to go in the second semi-final. Under 18's Vs. Penalty to Churchers.
They've done well to win that because the King Edward scrum has just been getting on top in this second half. It's very even in the first half, but Churchers there have dug deep and won the penalty. Seb Harold having to really drive the ball into touch there. I mean, in our commentary position, Johnny, we can't really feel the wind at all, but it's certainly a factor out there on the pitch.
Lions Park, home of Saracens, home of these Cups semi-finals today and tomorrow. Great venue it is here in North London. Churchers looking to drive forward into the King Edward 22. They come. Good opportunity, but an opportunity missed. But back it comes again. Knock-on advantage being played here for King Edward. Dwight Wilson. And they'll come back for that knock-on. Will be a scrum on King Edward's own 22, but they will have the putt in.
Well, we could have had a try at either end there. Ben Norman again for Churchers, pumping those legs and bursting through. He looked for the offload and nearly put it straight into the breadbasket of Warren Davis, who'd have been away untouched for the try that would have brought King Edward VI right back into it, but the ball went to ground. Then there was a series of errors. It got a little bit too scrappy, and the referee brings it for the original knock-on, which was off Churchers.
Free kick given to King Edward. And they're off and running. Bennett.
Oh, good collision.
Bean. Lovely dancing moves he has. He does well. Tyler. Chitnis. Up to the halfway line they come. Bit of a high tackle there. Referee thought it was fair. Wilson up to halfway. Tyler. Chitnis. The big man. Morris. like a tank driving through. Tyler. Chitness looks to find a little bit of a gap himself.
He gave Alexander a little bit of afters on the floor then as well, did Chitness.
Tyler. Wilson up to the 22, looking for the player. He finds Gubbing right into 22 they come. Good counter-rocking from Churches, and it looks like they may have turned this over.
Good defence from Churches, great turnover. And once again, Davis is not comfortable under that high ball whatsoever.
But some in the crowd thought it was a knock-on. Alas, it wasn't. That one's going to go bounce out of play. And he'll go back to where it originally played. 10 minutes to go. Churches still lead by 8.
If I can bring it back a few phases there, Joseph Morris is going through so much work at the moment, the big number one. If I was Davis or Bean or any of those outside backs, I would just be hanging off him, looking for the offload. I mean, he's got one away to Dwight Wilson there, but it wasn't really at any pace. When he is smashing through that line, bursting the first tackle, all it needs is someone with wheels to just be on his shoulder either way, and they could cause absolute havoc here. Someone from King Edward VI just needs to have a word with these guys and just try and introduce a little bit of rugby thinking. You know, that is the difference between them being behind and in front at the moment, just trying to take advantage of these opportunities.
Churches win the scrum. Good tackle there from Warren Davis.
And he's turned it over.
And he's turned it over as well, yes, indeed. Tyler. Time the enemy now for King Edward. They need to find 2 scores from somewhere. Morris getting over the gain line once again. Tyler. Drop ball from Chitness, though, that's a mistake.
Well, he's been an absolute roller coaster, as Ollie Chitness today. Moments of absolute magic for the try, for the line breaks, for the tackling. But on too many occasions, the fundamentals of the game have let him down. His kicking has been up and down, and just when they've got the opportunity in the final 10 minutes to build again, the ball goes to ground.
A couple of replacements coming back on the field. Joseph Farrell and Johnny Payne. Looking for some fresh legs. So then, a few minutes to go. Churches with the put-in at the scrum. And they collect. Tap downfield. Warren Davis. A little bit of a juggling act, and it's not the best kick in the world. And a goal, my word, what a great tackle that is from Dwight Wilson. But Churches could put this game to bed here inside the King Edward 22. They have a penalty advantage. But this game could be over right now. Matthew Vaudry may have sent Churches to Twickenham.
Well, they've targeted Warren Davis of Churches. Every time he's had the ball in his hands, he's been in trouble. He was deep inside the 22 there. He initially looked as though he'd recovered. He's forced himself a little, he's got himself a little bit of space. Then he's just skewed his clearance right up in the air. They didn't have numbers back, and Churches have kept their composure, and they forced their way over the line. No more than this disciplined second half performance deserves. And barring a real late comeback from King Edward, they are on their way to Twickenham. Once again, it's good work from Stefan Younghusband. He's been fantastic in the loose as the Churches hooker. The substitute there, Matthew Vaudry, has pounced on it. King Edward VI have not got themselves back in position fast enough, and it is try time, 23-10.
23-10 to Churches. This will put the game to bed. 2 tries can be done in 5 minutes, but not 3 scores. 15 points will be a bridge too far for King Edward, you feel. So this will definitely send Churches to Twickenham if it goes over. Right of the upright. 5 minutes to go. 13 points the difference.
Yeah, difficult kick from there into the wind.
Needs something special. We have seen it happen though. It has happened before in the past.
Well, bags of tries have been scored late on, but what they need to do now is secure possession as quickly as possible.
And they made it.
That's the start that they need. A mistake from Churches, and King Edward have the line out. Now, it's amazing how tries and how little things can really change the momentum. If King Edward VI do manage to score a try in the next minute or so, then it is going to be a very, very nervous last few minutes for Churches.
But the referee was not happy with that line out, and it will be a Churches scrum. Not the thing you wanted to see at that time.
Again, the mistake from King Edward. It's happened time and time again, and ultimately it's been the difference. They've got themselves in good positions but not been able to take advantage of them.
4 minutes to go. King Edward need to pull a rabbit out of a hat from somewhere here.
They need to really, really pressurise this scrum for starters.
They haven't done too bad. Picked up by Seb Hellold. Who's pass? A good tackle there from Joseph Morris. So I think it's had an excellent game for King Edward.
Yeah, particularly in the second half, in attack and defence. It's been gargantuan. You can see there as he gets up, he's starting to feel the pace a little bit too. The penalty there to Churches. They've got to find a good touch here. More pats on the back for Stefan Younghusband. He has been through so much work today.
3 minutes to go. Churches looking to run the clock down now. I think they know that they're more or less there or thereabouts as that one goes up towards the halfway line. So 2.5 minutes to go, David. We can more or less say Churches College are looking whether they're 1 foot and maybe 4 toes into the final at Twickenham. Please give me your man of the match.
A few candidates for this one. Joseph Morris for King Edward, as you rightfully mentioned, he's been absolutely superb, particularly in the second half. It's been a great team performance from Churches, but the man who's really stood out for me, not necessarily for his glamour work, but just for his sheer industry, and he's been here, there and everywhere. It's the hooker for Churches, number 2, Stefan Younghusband. He's my man of the match. Great performance from the front rower.
The man in your picture right now, who will be taking this line out, is the man of the match from us up on the gantry. Stefan Younghusband with the line out. Intercepted.
You give him the man of the match.
Give the man of the match and then he
throws a loose one.
So Stefan Younghusband, our man of the match. But let's see if King Edward can finish with a flourish. Maybe not. Forward pass. And a tiny little bit of afters there as well.
I think that's frustration from Miles Bean. He didn't quite time his run well enough there. And I'm sure he'll be frustrated with the way the match has gone. I mean, obviously a hugely talented player. That try he scored was absolutely magical. The stuff that, you know, that would stand out. If that had been in the Six Nations, a try like that, then we'd have been watching replays of it for weeks and weeks and months because it was wonderful. But other than that, you know, he's been stifled, and I think that little bit of afters there was probably just his frustration boiling over.
Minute to go. And this could be the icing on the cake. A little bit of a high tackle there from number 12, Thomas Williams. But the referee was happy with the play to continue.
Yeah, good break from the replacement scrum half there. But lost forward. Churches getting a little bit excited, as you say, looking to put the icing on the cake, looking for the final try. But unless we get something pretty miraculous in the remaining seconds, they are heading to Twickenham alongside Seavick College. What a match that's going to be.
That'll be an intriguing tie. That'll be in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, just a replay here. It was a lovely break from the scrum half. He was shut down by Thomas Williams. Bit of a swinging arm there. I think King Edward will just want every remaining tackle to really hurt the opposition. I think they'll be disappointed today, King Edward. They'll look at this as an opportunity missed, a few mistakes in key areas, and you know, if those balls had gone to hand or if those kicks had gone over, then it could have been a completely different game. But
who have you been impressed with more, Civic or Churchers?
It's always hard to tell, isn't it? I mean, I was impressed with, well, firstly, Civic's character, because they didn't have a very good first half whatsoever, but they really dug in. And as soon as they got their noses in front, they were clinical, and they absolutely put the hammer down. In terms of organisation, I think Churchers are going to be very difficult to beat at Twickenham. But
they've been very workmanlike, haven't they?
Absolutely, but Twickenham's a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think with
penalty to King Edward School.
With occasions like that, it's whoever can, you know, control their emotions best on the day.
Just to remind you as well, we go on the referee's whistle. Our clock is only a rough indication of where we are in the game. So obviously this must be one of the last plays as they're going for the tap and go and not for territory. Let's see if King Edward can pick up a little bit of a consolation here. Miles Bean going up the wing, dumped it to touch. Referee looks at his watch. Will there be one more play? I think there may be one more play. Miles Bean has hurt himself. Just on the sidelines there.
Yeah, Bean stayed down. It was a good cover tackle from Charlie Thompson. His position as mixed up as the game's gone on. I mean, he started at full-back. He's played plenty of time at first receiver as well. He was defending on the wing there. He's another player for Churchers who's had a great game. As you said, Johnny, they really do work together as a unit.
Stefan Younghusband picks up. Good line out from him. Churchers going for a little late drive.
This is something that Civic didn't seem to have in the locker, the organised drive as the pack go forward. This is great work here from Vaudry, the try scorer.
Yes, indeed, Vaudry has scored the third try. Churchers looking to put the cherry on the proverbial sundae. Referee calls it back, but that'll be it. Churchers are off to Twickenham. 23 points to 10 they've won. I wouldn't say it's a comprehensive victory, but a good workman-like performance. And Civic will keep an eye on that and thinking this team could be difficult to break down.
Oh, absolutely. Really, really controlled and impressive performance from Churchers. I mean, it was summed up right at the end there, where you've got Charlie Thompson making a tackle on the danger man Miles Bean, followed by a beautifully well-worked drive. I say it's a beautifully well-worked drive. It's certainly not pretty rugby, but in terms of the purists, in terms of how you win a game, in terms of being a team that can go all the way in the championship, those are the sorts of things that you need to have. So yes, Churchers are going to be extremely difficult to beat. However, Civic have got the sort of power and pace and talent that can really, really test teams like that. It's going to be it's absolutely anyone's final. It could go either way. Churchers could be able to shut down Civic and not allow them to flourish, or Civic could do what they did to Stockport and just steamroller the team and really pull away. Twickenham on the 25th, you don't want to be anywhere else, because that Vs final is not to be missed.
Churchers will play Civic in that Vs final. 23 points to 10 is the full-time score. Let's have a look at this match. Tails of the tape. It was Churchers the ones who won off on the front foot.
Yeah, after a decent start from King Edward, it was Churchers who got over the try line first. It was great work there from Seb Head. Just spotted the gap, slows down there, surveys his options, sees that the best one is right in front of him, ends up stepping the scrum half, Zach Tyler, and Dobbs down. From there on, Churchers never really looked like letting that lead slip. Just another angle there. It was a lovely step off his right foot. Now, there was this one moment of sheer brilliance here from Miles Bean. It was the only time that the Churcher's try line was really threatened, and it was threatened out of nowhere. He got the ball in an innocuous position, and just with that moment of magic where he stops and starts again there, he stands one defender up, then everyone else, wow, they get nowhere near him. It was power, it was pace, and that's why I think he'll be disappointed with the way that this match and his personal performance panned out, because aside from that moment of magic, there wasn't really a great deal that he was able to contribute. This is another great example of the good forward pack work from Churchers. They really work together as an 8. There's the man of the match there, Stefan Younghusband, making more ground, which is what he did throughout. He drove people back in defence, and he always made yards in attack, putting his body on the line. So that was it. Half-time, Churchers led. They'd scored 2 tries. They'd controlled the King Edward attack. And, well, they had a 10-point advantage. From then, we saw Chitnis. Oh, he was so up and down in the match. I mean, this just shows what a talented player he is. Leaving a melee of bodies behind him on the counter-attack. Just a replay there. The bounce of the ball went his way, but he still had lots to do. I mean, that was a 40-metre finish. 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders were taken out of play just by his clinical finish. Unfortunately for him, he just wasn't able to put it together with the passing and the kicking game, which could have been the difference. He wasn't really able to control the back line as well as his opposite number, Seb Head. This is the 3rd try. It was Vaudry. He just picked it up at the breakdown. King Edward defence at 1s and 2s. We'll just see it here. Once again, it's Stefan Younghusband who's making all the yards, but there was an advantage being played. But just look at the gaps here. There is no one from King Edward covering the right-hand side of the ruck there. That's the Churchers left, the King Edward right. And the substitute, the number 19, Matthew Vaudry, just strolls in. I mean, it's good awareness from him, but really King Edward will be disappointed with that. And 23-10 is the final score.
Churchers College are through to Twickenham. Here's the thoughts of their coach.
Nerves of some, but it has to be said, a fantastic and composed performance from your side. You're on your way to Twickenham. How do you feel?
Very happy. I didn't feel very composed on the touchline. It was nervy at time. We had a tough one. They're a very good side. Their back line are very dangerous. Put us under a lot of pressure. And we definitely gave them a lot of respect, but fair play to the guys. They stuck at it. I mean, we've had a lot of problems. We had a winger go down and warm up with a hamstring injury, so there's a lot of injuries. Everyone on the squad played, so really pleased with them. They've done well.
A word on Seb Herald, your captain. I know he was a little bit disappointed not to be listed as captain in the programme, but a phenomenal kicking game. 20 points in your quarter-final. He's got points on the board again today. A real leader in that side of yours.
No, he's big for us. He's big for us. He does very well for us. But they're all in together, and he does a good job. But the other guys all back him up, so it's really important. But he's our captain, so he's important for us.
Well, as in any team, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. None more so than here. They were all played an important part. However, one thing that must be mentioned is the travelling support you had today. Phenomenal noise they were making for you.
Yeah, we loved it, and this last round we got them as well, and they were absolutely brilliant. I think against Cheadle Hume in the quarters, they made a real difference to us as well. It's been brilliant. They're so enthusiastic, really positive support as well. Nothing negative about it, just really enthusiastic. They've been great. Make a real difference to us.
Well, let's hope that they're bringing you home in the final as well. Yeah. Best of luck to you going forward, and congratulations today. A great performance.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your time. Cheers.
So then, we now know who will contest the Vs final at Twickenham. It will be Civic College of Essex against Churchers College of Hampshire. Churchers defeating King Edward the 6th Aston School by 23 points to 10. The Cup semi-finals follow very shortly.